All right, here we are. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Here we are with the Reconciling with Money here on July 8th already. Amazing. 2020. So, we're going to be working a little bit on everyone's favorite subject, the subject of money, using inner reconciliation, EFT, whatever comes up as far as what we want to work with and how we want to work with it. Of course, I have some stuff planned for today. So we're going to be about 40 minutes long. If there's some Q&As, it could go longer. You can enter any money-related issues into the chat and be as specific as general as you like if you have something specific you'd like to work on. You can relax and enjoy. The replay is always going to be here on YouTube, sometimes Facebook, or the page innerwork.space. So just a couple quick links. I'll have these up on the screen here if you'd like to join the Facebook group, the YouTube channel where these are generally live broadcast. If you want to like or thumbs up or subscribe, that always helps the cause. And the blog that some of you have been leaving comments on and engaging with. Been appreciating that and enjoying hearing everyone's feedback as we talk about the subjects that we're doing here on this channel. Inner work, how to work with our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs and improve the overall relationship to that to get better results, which is the point of all of this. So, of course, I'm not a doctor, licensed therapist, psychologist. I have certifications in the techniques that we're going to be using here, but that does not qualify me to diagnose, treat, or give any type of medical advice. So please consider this work for what it is, and if you feel something come up that requires medical or psychological care, you have to take your own responsibility for that. And I appreciate those doctors that have worked on me recently and everything else involved. Let's not do the donations here. Sharing. If you're interested in supporting this work at all, one of the best possible things right now is to let people know about these calls or the free course, Reconciling with Money. They are free and open to everyone. You can send them to the Reconciling with Money course. You can send them to the Facebook page or the YouTube channel, and to subscribe and like and all of that good stuff. And finally, the private sessions are extra discounted now. That's going for about another week. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, there's the website there, innerworkcoach.com, or just shoot me a message. So let's go back to Reconciling with Money. Today's theme, of course, doing this type of inner work around the subject of money. So as we always tend to do, let's take a moment to actually connect to what we're feeling physically and emotionally so that we can work with the underlying feelings, the underlying energy, the fundamental sort of attitudes, beliefs, and everything going on under the surface that really drives the results in this area. It's not just what we think and the thoughts that arise, but things much deeper than that. Fortunately, it's not a huge ordeal to connect to some of that stuff. So what I'd invite everyone to do is close your eyes if you're in a position to do so, and just take a nice deep breath. As you take another deep breath, just focus on the sensation of the air as it moves through your nose or your mouth. Feel that air expanding your lungs and into your stomach. And just imagine now that that air is sending a signal to your body to just relax any tension that you don't need to be holding on to. And so actually feel that air. Visualize it going up to the top of your head, sending relaxation there as it moves down your back, the back of your neck, your throat, down through the back of your spine and the front of your chest. The air is just inviting your body to relax and let go, down through your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Breathing deep down into your lower stomach, to your hips and your knees. And now just invite that sense of awareness that's focused on your body to expand out in all different directions. See if you can feel beyond the barriers of your body. and feel into the space around you. Just noticing what your body feels like right now, inviting any calmness, allowing yourself to let go of whatever's been going on with you for the day, for the week, for the month, and just being as present as you can with what you're experiencing right now. It's only from the place of being present that you can actually begin to develop a new and better foundation. It's only from here, when you take these moments to really be more centered and connected to what you're actually feeling right now. Notice not what you're thinking right now, but just the feeling of being very tuned in to the experience of your body, the experience of your breath. And there can be an awareness of what you're thinking right now, but you're not living in the world of your thoughts. Because in that world of your thoughts, the only thing you can be working with is the past or a hypothetical future. And even in inner work, we tend to spend too much time focused on working with the past and with our minds on a future, but without our bodies actually feeling connected. If we're not feeling emotionally, physically engaged, even if we're holding a vision of a better future in our mind, you're not activating it nearly on the level that you could be. So taking another deep breath, realizing that this is actually benefiting you on a very deep level just to be present. Okay, good. Now let's take a moment to introduce the subject of money. Whatever's going on for you financially right now, you can tune in specifically to your situation or just the subject in general and notice what's happening with your body. Notice what's happening to your emotional state. And pay close attention, because this is going to help give you a better perspective, a clearer picture of what the actual background, sort of constant feeling state, the feelings, the thoughts, the relationship to those feelings and thoughts that's going on for you around money. So slow it down from this more present place and actually look, how is it affecting you physically? What's going on with your body? If you're feeling tension or other things being introduced, they are representative of how your body is feeling, how it's reacting to what you're holding about money. And if it's not feeling great, that's important information. So what you want to do now is not get lost deep into your mind again, but actually support the body now that this has been introduced there. So take some deep breaths into it. Bring your awareness and attention to wherever some feelings of stress or discomfort have been brought up. You can tap on your collarbone or something on your body if you like to engage it. I do recommend that. And what you're doing here is actually pausing and giving attention and support on a physical, visceral level to the parts of you that are just constantly being held in a certain amount of tension. Anything less than an energized, peaceful, positive place around the subject of money. And you're breathing into that now to help it, to support that tension, to help it let go of whatever's maybe not necessary. and to establish a better line of communication. So if your body, your mind, your nervous system actually thinks there is an issue here, and there may be one, we can listen to it from a place of truly getting useful information from it that we can then incorporate, listen to, have our bodies, our minds actually hear the answer to what's going on and to begin to process that. And pause here again for a moment just to be really present with this while it's happening. I want you to now never allow yourself to have or to entertain the thought, oh, I don't know what to do. There's all this stuff around money. I don't know where to start. This is where you start with everything. And this is more powerful than you realize. It's not fancy, it's not exotic, but it's being present. It's actually moving into the direction of your feelings, focused on what your body, your emotions are experiencing. Relaxing your mind that can't wait to get to some sort of technique or some sort of solution. And doing the one thing it probably never thought to do, which is actually to bring the direction of attention into what you're feeling and experiencing right now. You've already brought up the subject of money. And to keep bringing the attention back to the body, back to what you're feeling, so it can actually process through some of this stuff. Allow yourself to realize a lot of this stuff I don't need to analyze anymore. Allow yourself to relax all the information you have about why you're in this money situation, all the education you have about it, all the parts that could explain to me the different dynamics, the things with your parents, the things with your family. And say, okay, great, what do we do about that? And pose that question now inside yourself, into your body, into what you're feeling. Begin to connect more and more with the sense of getting your own information and your own answers. And just continue to take some deep breaths. Good. Now, what I'd like you to do, staying on that theme of we all have a certain amount of information we have about our money situation and where we may have learned different things and why certain behaviors and patterns may be continuing. And what I'd like you to do, I'm certainly right here with you doing this, think about for a moment how you would describe it. If I were to say, what's your story with money? What's the relationship to it? What did you learn about it? What are some of the patterns, things you may have got from family or society? And what I'd like you to do is notice any part of you that basically puts the energy, puts the onus, puts the ownership onto the society, onto the family, onto even your past experiences. And they very much may have caused, they may have been the original incidents, the original downloads of information, the original triggers that created some behaviors and patterns and ways of thinking. But as you see it, what I'd like you to try is to take full ownership of it. Okay, however I got it, whenever I got this, who's the one to do anything about it now? Let's take a moment and focus on your parents or your family and see if any part of your perspective, any part of your inner work, any part of how you've approached these subjects was to try to work on your parents, to try to work on your family situation. Notice if anything in the thinking or the language or the imagery is focused now on what they did or what happened or what those judgments and perspectives and beliefs were. And I want you to bring your attention back like we were doing in the beginning there to what's currently going on with your body, with how you're feeling. And see if it can become clear to you that you cannot work on the past. There's not a whole lot we can do if while we're sitting here, the focus of our attention is on what happened, why is my money situation like this, this is my pattern, this is where I got it from. Say, okay, great, I have that information. If having that information hasn't changed everything for me, where's the point of power? Where's the point that we actually can do something with this? So even if these events happened in the past, even if your parents' programming happened in the past, if you're assigning the ownership to them, well, we can't work on them. If part of your energy, part of your attention is focused on how that happened in the past, well, we can't go back there and change that. If you instead look at what you're feeling, again, they may have caused it. You may know the exact cause of everything. But I want you to turn your attention inside and say, well, it's here and now. The effects of that programming, the effects of those incidents, they're here with me now. If I take full ownership of them, in the sense that the reactions, the behaviors, the thoughts, the feelings, they're happening now, whoever may have caused them, inside of me. If I own that and I work with that, then the good news is that I can actually change that. And I want you to see how that feels for you. I want you to see if there's a lot of sort of habitual energy that keeps bringing the attention back to society, back to capitalism, back to your parents, back to whatever. You can't work on those things. You can't improve your parents. You can't change the government here. The more you take ownership of what's happening inside of you, the more you're in a position to actually work with it, to actually do something with it. And see, are you open to that? Is your body, is your mind, is your energy system welcoming of that concept? If it is, your attention will just sort of naturally sink into what's present for me. If it's fighting that, there's going to be a lot of commentary. The thoughts are going to keep pulling you in different directions. And let me know what's going on in regards to that so that I can direct this properly. When you say, I own this, this is here now, I can bring my attention into the present moment and work with it. Does your attention move deeper into that, or does it get pulled away? Okay, I'm going to assume it's getting pulled deeper into that. So as that happens, I want you to begin to now relax the part of your mind that's very aware of the stories, very aware of whatever may have happened. Appreciate, be grateful for the insights because we're not diminishing them. I'd like you to think about the stages of working with anything, right? There's a diagnostic stage, and then there's where you actually work with something. So if you're bringing your car into the garage, there's that part where they say, okay, maybe this got hit by a rock. This happened the other day with us. And then there's a cracked windshield. Okay, it's from the storm, something hit it. Now imagine if you stopped there. Imagine if you drove around with a broken windshield for 10 years going, yeah, that thing hit it. I can't believe it hit it. I've spent a lot of time trying to make peace with the fact that this thing cracked this windshield. Right? The diagnostic, you may have some of it down. If you've done some of the reconciling with money, you probably have some insights around that. Thanks, Brock, for sharing that. Very good. But then, once you have the situation, you know what it is, then the work happens. Then someone takes the windshield out and puts the new one in. And so see if you can relax the information and turn now into, all right, let's do the actual work now with it. What is the feeling I have? There's this fear around money. There's a sense it's never going to come. It's a sense we have to hold on tight. A sense we have to spend too quickly. Once you're tuned into the feeling, we don't need to diagnose anymore. Now's the time to lean into that feeling. I want you to breathe into your body and actually begin to form a relationship with that feeling so that it can either process or begin to show you what it needs in order to move forward. It itself may be scared. It itself may need some support in order to be able to relax. It itself may need some help from you or your mind or something else to give it another perspective, another way of being. So a couple deep breaths into that. It's totally fine to label the feeling and identify what it is, maybe even the story behind it if you feel you have it. And then just continue to feel into that feeling as you breathe and you tap and process that energy through your body. And I'd like you to engage now your curiosity towards that feeling itself, not necessarily the backstory of it, but to actually talk, listen, feel into it as though it's actually here now because it is, right? There's a difference between knowing my background and my past and actually engaging in a real-time conversation with me in this moment. So engage into that feeling now. Be curious. What are you? What's the nature of what it's feeling? Is it scared? Is it protective, like it's protecting you? Is it hiding? The more open and curious you are about what's actually taking place inside of you, the more it will begin to naturally kind of expose itself, engage with you, move through the body. It's not necessarily problem solving. You're not necessarily a detective and you're trying to figure everything out. You're just doing your best to be present and engage with reality, what's actually going on in you, not your thoughts about it, not your interpretation of it. Someone asked at the beginning, I'm not getting the results I want. What is wrong with me? See if you can feel the difference now between that sort of wide view. What's wrong with me? Which is very diagnostic and sort of disconnected from what's going on inside of you. To that more curious introspection into what those feelings actually are, whatever feeling is dominant, and say, oh, what are you? What's happening? What do you need? What do you need to tell me? And if you're getting responses to those types of feeling into it, great. If not, that's fine too. It's more about being present and actually practicing connecting to what's actually going on inside you. And now notice again, bring it back to that sense of ownership. Are you deflecting any of this? Is any part of your mind or awareness going to, oh, this happened to me, and here's this again, or any sort of commentary on what's happening? Or can you take ownership and say, this is what's going on with me now? Let go of the concept of fair and unfair. Engage with what's here in front of you. This is what I've got. This is what I have to work with. And see how everything's responding to that. Now, what I'd like you to do is begin to introduce a picture, an image, a feeling, or even just an idea about what you would like in regards to money, what you would like your financial situation to be. What you would like to feel like. And begin to introduce that picture now into this dynamic of you being connected and listening and curious. And see what that reaction inside yourself is. Do things get on board with it? Do they say, oh, that's great, that would feel great, that would be great? Or does something resist it? Does something feel like that wouldn't be safe? That wouldn't be right? I don't deserve it? There's a danger in having that? Just notice the response. And again, keep focusing back into the present moment. Feel into that response. Notice the tendency to go, oh, there's the resistance. What do I do? There's that old pattern. There's the problem. So do I want to think about the problem or do I want to engage in the solution? So put your attention on the resistance itself, if there is any. If there's not, continue to amplify, to focus, to clarify, to engage with that feeling and that picture of what you'd like with money. So again, if you're feeling resistance, you're putting your attention on the resistance and engaging your curiosity. Okay, why is this unsafe? Why do you feel resistant to this? Maybe it has a good reason. If it does, it's not going to help us to just keep jamming more affirmations at it, or visuals into its face. If we can listen to the objection, make some peace with whatever it's telling us, listen to it, process what it's saying. You can become more on board with those pictures, those thoughts, those feelings of what you do want, and then the affirming, the visualizing, the actual reprogramming of the brain can move forward without being in such a tight conflict. And so I'm going to give you a few moments to sink into that and then respond and see where that's taking you. Hopefully that gives you a useful framework tuning into what's going on and then observing your ownership of it so that you can't work on what you don't own. If it's your parents' problem, you can't actually work on it. You'll trick yourself into thinking you're working on it while you're basically talking and thinking about your parents for hopefully, hopefully not decades, but it can happen. So any interesting reactions, any questions? Okay, great. So you can continue with that on your own. You can continue deepening into that. And if you have some questions, comments as they come up, feel free to leave them on the channel, on the YouTube channel as a comment, and we can follow up with that or leave it on the blog or anywhere else. And as you know, I'm always happy to keep going further and respond to your feedback as far as what's going on, and we can get in there more specifically. If you'd like to really dig into what's going on for you on a personal level and have the back and forth and actually engage with those parts of you and be guided through that, we can always work one-on-one together. So the site's here on the graphic, innerworkcoach.com. Ah, excellent comment. Yes, I can feel it, so in a way I must already have it. True. That's certainly the seed of it actually appearing, right? You can feel its presence. Something's underway. That's great news. So thanks, everybody. I'm looking forward to talking to you next time, and have a good rest of your day. Okay, take care.